The Vanisher. Real name, Telford Porter. Occupation, professional criminal. Identity, publicly known. Legal status, American citizen with a criminal record. Former aliases, none known. Place of birth, Milton, Massachusetts. Marital status, unknown. Known relatives, none. Group affiliation, former member of Factor 3. Base of operations, mobile. First appearance, X-Men #2. Origin. The Vanisher first came to public attention when he used his power of teleportation to commit a series of spectacular crimes. He rapidly built a large criminal organization that he headed, and then announced to the United States government his intention to steal its continental defense plans. Despite the efforts of the government and of the newly formed X-Men, the Vanisher easily teleported into the heavily guarded Pentagon room where the plans were being kept and escaped with them. The Vanisher then demanded $10 million, or else he would turn the plans over to the Soviet Union. Confident that no one could possibly capture him, the Vanisher showed up on the White House lawn, accompanied by his men, in order to pick up the ransom money. However, Professor Charles Xavier, see Professor X, was present and psionically induced amnesia in the Vanisher, so that he was unaware of his own power. The Vanisher was taken into custody and the plans were recovered, but eventually the Vanisher's memory returned and he escaped. Years later, in the course of an encounter with the now disbanded Champions of Los Angeles, the Vanisher was halted in the middle of the process of teleporting by Darkstar with her Dark Force. See Darkstar. As a result, half of the Vanisher's body remained in Los Angeles, while the other half rematerialized in upstate New York months later, and he suffered from traumatic shock. After the two halves of his body were rejoined, the Vanisher was temporarily in a highly nervous state due to the after effects of the shock. His present whereabouts are unknown, but his usual crafty, determined personality has probably returned by now. Height, 6 feet 2 inches. Weight, 210 pounds. Eyes, green. Hair, bald. Powers. The Vanisher is a mutant with the ability to teleport himself, the clothes that he is wearing, and, within limits, a certain amount of additional mass that he may be carrying almost immediately. Usually, the Vanisher teleports himself with such speed that the process appears instantaneous to the human eye. On film recording one of the Vanisher's disappearances at the rate of 20,000 frames per second, the Vanisher appears to fade away within the space of 170 frames. There are some differences between the Vanisher's teleportational ability and that of the mutant Nightcrawler. See Nightcrawler. Whereas Nightcrawler's power involves an unknown biophysical-biochemical reaction, the Vanisher's power is entirely psionic. As a result, there is no smoke, flame, or stench accompanying the Vanisher's disappearances, as with Nightcrawler's. It is not known whether the Vanisher teleports by traveling in and out of another dimension, as Nightcrawler does. The Vanisher has an extrasensory instinctual ability that prevents him from materializing all or part of his body within a solid object at the conclusion of a teleportational process. Nightcrawler only has this ability to a highly limited degree, enough to keep him from materializing with his feet sunk a few inches into the ground, for example. As a result, Nightcrawler will not teleport into any place that he cannot see or has not seen in the past. The Vanisher, however, can teleport to any place within the limits of his teleportational range, whether he has seen it or not, without danger of harming himself. Thus, he was able to materialize within a top-secret chamber at the Pentagon. The limitations on the Vanisher's ability are not yet known. He has never been seen to teleport an additional amount of weight that exceeded a small fraction of his own. It is unknown whether he could carry more. The Vanisher may be able to cover far more distance in a single teleportational jump than can Nightcrawler, who can cover up to 3 miles between north and south along Earth's magnetic lines of force, and up to 2 miles between east and west against them. It is not known whether Earth's magnetic lines of force affect the Vanisher's ability at all. The Vanisher has minimal athletic ability and has had no training in hand-to-hand combat. He has some knowledge of robotics and computers. Weapons. The Vanisher has carried guns which fire sleeping gas and energy beams. He once commanded Sentinel robots which he had reprogrammed to obey him.